Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 7 of Around the Sound Sports. My name is Ben Ray, your host here this afternoon. What a wonderful weekend. What a wonderful week of sports it was. And as the playoffs are inching ever closer, these games each and every day are more and more important. And I'm excited to bring you a full slate on this episode of Around the Sound Sports. Thank you to everyone for supporting this channel. Thank you for the likes and the comments and the shares on Instagram. We really appreciate those clips being sent out. The feedback from everyone has been fantastic. Please remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel here at Benjamin Ray on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Around the Sound Sports Pod, and subscribe to your local paper as well, the Federal Way Mirror, the Kent Reporter, the Auburn Reporter, and Renton Reporter, as well as these stories from this podcast will be in print form on those websites and in the physical papers. We'll start out on Monday on the soccer pitch as the 3A NPSL has really condensed its playoff field, and Federal Way was a team on the outside looking in, trying to get into the playoffs, but unfortunately, following the loss to White River, their playoff chances were really hurt and eventually ended later in the week. Federal Way lost 6-3 to the Hornets on Monday night. It was a highly anticipated game. It was senior night. It was everything that a penultimate regular season game was supposed to be, but Federal Way just couldn't meet the moment, and that pressure got to him a little too much. And here's head coach Pedro Milan following the loss to White River.
I think it's a lot of pressure when you put names on games in sort of situation like let's play because we need to win to make playoff. So when you put a title to a game, every player every indie will have a little pressure. We couldn't manage that on the beginning of the game, so we proceeded to go super earlier. We tried to come back, and then mistakes started going on their heads because we were more desperate to go for the result. I just managed to pick it up afterwards, even with it.
Like he said there, it was a difficult response. It was a disappointing result, something they had worked so hard for. This is a Federal Way team that has fantastic wins. They have a win over Auburn Mountain View. They have a win over Kent Meridian. And even against White River in the first leg, it was 2-2. These two teams were really close. Federal Way was just 2 points out of the playoffs. A win would have really shook things up as far as the playoff picture was concerned, but they just weren't able to do it. White River scored a really early goal and then added a second goal to really take a stranglehold, but it wasn't enough. Federal Way did find that answer. They got a goal from Jefferson Molina on a free kick, and then Josh Ruiz Perez followed it up with a goal, but that was it for Federal Way. They weren't able to slow down White River on the attacking third of the field, and it just was really unfortunate because there was so much good in this Federal Way program this year. Here's Gordo following the loss and just what he wanted to see from his group in this game and in the game moving forward for the Eagles.
When we scored the first two goals, I think you see that little head down, but I think it was a lot of time into the game. So I feel like, hey, just keep playing our game. And we respond in a good way. And after that, I think that the mistakes got into our heads, and then that's when a little tiny decision making is just going to be. It's not just about the playoffs necessarily. Obviously, that's kind of the goal all the time, but also how we can raise the program.
Like I said, it was a disappointing performance for Federal Way. They did end up falling out of the playoff picture as far as the district tournament was concerned, but White River is firmly in it. Enumclaw is firmly in it. Decatur, who we'll talk about later in this show, is playing excellent soccer, but just not enough good from Federal Way to advance to the playoffs this season. On Tuesday, we'll go to the baseball diamond out at Auburn Riverside, where the Ravens hosted Kent Ridge in a really pivotal game as far as the standings are concerned in the NPSL. If Auburn Riverside were to win Game 1, they would punch their ticket to the postseason. But if they lost, it's going to be a lot trickier, and that's kind of the reality we're in, as Kent Ridge won Game 1 of this series 6-2 over Auburn Riverside on Tuesday. And here's head coach Sheldon Stober following the 4-run win.
It feels good, especially starting off the game early, getting the run across, putting them on their heels a little bit, like, oh gosh, we're going to have a game. Especially that first inning, we were able to sneak that run across with that first and third play that we had going. So getting that extra one always means something because you don't know what's going to happen later in the game. Competitive. We've been trying to tell our guys to be aggressive early in the count, and I didn't care if Morgan went out there and threw a 75-pitch CG. I wanted the guys to be aggressive. I didn't want them taking pitches. I wanted to be on time for the fastball and trying to punch the ball around the yard, and they did that.
Kent Ridge got 2 runs in the first inning. It really helped settle the nerves. They're really able to. They played some add-on. They added a run in the third, or in the second and the third, to take a 4-0 lead over Auburn Riverside and never let their offense get going, thanks to Akoni Nazarino on the bump for the Chargers. And here's Stober talking about his junior starting pitcher and his ability to weather runners on base and find ways to pitch deep into games, because that's what he's going to have to do as the playoffs inch closer.
He did better. The last couple starts, he's kind of been a little bit all over, and we kind of honed it in tonight, and he really was our dog on the mound tonight and gave us a chance to win, and that's what we needed out, especially this late in the year. We had to get a win tonight, and for him to give us a chance tonight really, really means a lot. Because
as far as the offense was concerned for Kent Ridge, Cardo Del Fiero did the majority of the damage. He picked up 2 hits, he picked up 2 RBIs. Crucial RBIs, 1 in the first and 1 in that in the third inning. And here is Stober talking about his second baseman and the 5th bat in his lineup.
Both those hits too were with 2 outs as well, so that's huge, especially getting those extra runs across, just feeling better going in later in the game. But he's gotten better and better all year, and it's fantastic. He's really come up in spots that have helped us put ourselves in a chance to win at the end of the game.
This series was really pivotal as far as the 4A NPSL playoff picture was concerned, as now following Kent Ridge ended up sweeping Auburn Riverside in Game 2 by a score of 3-2 over the Ravens, and now there are 4 teams in the playoff picture that have a record of 6-6 in league play, and all 4 of them play each other in the final series of the season. And here is Cardo Del Fiero talking about his offense's ability to get going in this game and their ability to kind of be a pest to opposing pitchers as the schedule winds down and the games and at-bats get more important.
We've had a few games where we kind of let the last few innings off. So, I mean, finishing strong, adding 2 more, closing it out, it's like a complete game, really.
Like I said, 4 teams are 6-6, fighting for the final 2 playoff spots. They are Auburn Riverside, Kent Ridge, Kentwood, and Mount Rainier. Auburn Riverside plays Kentwood in their final regular season series as the Chargers take on Mount Rainier in their final 2 games of the season. And now we'll head to the Fast Pitch Diamond, where Ken Lake has had an awesome season so far this year as they walk off Enumclaw 7-6 at Kent Meridian High School. And the Falcons are off to a great start this season. They have set a new win record for the most wins since 2018. It's the most games over 500 they've been since 2016. And here's head coach Jordan Stratton following the walk-off win over Enumclaw.
Really good. I mean, we've been struggling a little bit just with playing some harder competition and to come out and compete 1 through 9. We've lost a couple kids due to injuries and other things, so to be able to come out here and capitalize and be able to compete was really big.
It was a back-and-forth game pretty much the entire 7 innings in this one. Enumclaw scored 1 in the first. Kent Lake responded with 2 in the first. And that seesaw just continued. Enumclaw took a 6-4 lead in the 5th inning, but Kent Lake's resiliency was on full display in this one. And after losing their 2 games coming into this game, it was really important for Stratton to see her group kind of show that resilient factor. And here she is talking about her team's ability to come back and have a never say die attitude.
That happened there is our bottom of our order really took care of business today, making sure that we could turn the order over and be in that position in the 7th inning. And then having, 2 big bats at the plate, getting walks out of them, and then having a player like Ashlyn step up to the plate and, who's been struggling with her at bats, but to be able to execute a bunt and, would walk off that game is pretty incredible.
Hialea Gomes had smacked her 13th home run of the season for Kent Lake. She's hitting over 700, a phenomenal bat, and really the engine that gets this Kent Lake offense to go. And here is Stratton talking about that big bat in the middle of the lineup.
Coming back from her freshman year when she tore her ACL and meniscus, and coming back her sophomore year, she didn't hit as well as she wanted to, and then being able to come this year and really dominate at the plate, have better at bats, not dip as much, and just really, be feared by many teams is huge.
Leanne pitched all 7 innings for the Falcons in this win, as she was really good at the plate. She drew a huge walk in the bottom of the 7th and was the winning run, and fielded her position really well. She got a line drive. She had a couple throws to first base. A really impressive performance defensively in the circle for the Falcons. And here's her head coach talking about her starting pitcher, Riley Leanne.
She is an incredible athlete. She is able to do a lot of things that not a lot of typical pitchers can do. She can field her position. She can jump and leap for balls. It's really incredible. She's a great blessing that we have on this team, and to only be a sophomore, she's only going to continue to get better.
In the bottom of the 7th, Ashley Trujillo was the winning batter. She laid down a sacrifice bunt. She had been struggling coming into that at bat, but she gets the job done. The Falcons walk off Enumclaw as they now prepare for the 3A West Central District Tournament, which will begin on May 15th. And now we'll head to Thursday, where the Kent Lake baseball team was in action against Auburn Mountain View in their kind of big final test this regular season. And it was a fantastic pitching matchup in Game 2 of this series, after Game 1 was a bit of a rout by Kent Lake, a 16-1 win over Auburn Mountain View. But in this game, starting pitching was fantastic. Matthew Ledbetter and Jay Swanson of Auburn Mountain View were fantastic. Ledbetter ends up getting the win and drives in the winning run for Kent Lake the only run in the 1-0 win for the Falcons. Here's head coach Mike Seguro talking about Ledbetter on the mound.
It's crazy watching him his last couple outings. He's just gone out there and attacked guys. He's just trusted his stuff, and he just has that thought that if they're gonna hit him, they gotta hit him. They gotta hit his stuff. He's not gonna give in and try and paint the corners and kind of get too finessey with it. He's just gonna attack them, and that's just what he's been doing the last 3-4 outings for him. And I think it's maybe 1 hit the last 4 times out. So.
Both pitchers took no hitters into the 5th inning, and it was a really impressively pitched game. Both pitchers were going right at each other. Both pitchers there weren't many walks. There were no hits. This was a game where these pitchers took over and were putting the opposing hitters on their heels. And here is Seguro kind of talking about even Swanson's ability to pitch and make life difficult for Kent Lake hitters.
The guy over there was tough. Hats off to him. He's explosive hitter, good feel with the breaking stuff.
Over his last 5 appearances, Matthew Ledbetter has a .48 ERA. He had a perfect game against Todd Beamer before he was pulled in that game. He's been really unbelievable on the mound for Kent Lake. And he is also summer ball teammates with Jay Swanson. And in the bottom of the 6th inning, Ledbetter stepped up to the plate with a runner on third base, and he bounced a ball to short, which allowed the run to score for the Falcons against his summer league teammate in Swanson on the mound for Auburn Mountain View.
Approach, I definitely wanted to be early because past few at-bats was a little late. So just to get the foot down early and see it and just try to make hard contact. And if I was a little out front or late, I'll still be able to get the runner in. So that's what I did.
Following the 16-1 loss to Kent Lake in Game 1 of the series, Swanson knew he was going to be the guy to have to set the tone for his side, and he did just that. He was excellent on the mound. I can't say enough how good Jay Swanson was for Auburn Mountain View. He was able to go 6 innings, and here he is talking about how important this start was to set the tone after the Game 1 loss to Kent Lake.
I knew I had to step it up if we wanted a close game, because if our pitcher, I knew I was pitching, so I knew how to step up. And
Kent Lake takes on White River in their final series of the season, while Auburn Mountain View is now in a difficult position where they're going to have to beat Thomas Jefferson in both of their final league games of the season to make the playoffs. We'll head to Friday, where Decatur took on Todd Beamer on the soccer field out at Federal Memorial in what Todd Beamer was playing for Pride in a inner city rivalry match against Decatur. Decatur ended up overcoming a 2-1 deficit to win 3-2 against Todd Beamer. And here's head coach Dom Dismuke following the 1-goal victory over Todd Beamer.
I feel like we were able to prove once again, just like last year, that we're the best team in the city, one of the best teams in the league. And I think after losing 2 in a row, I told the boys that the windshield is bigger for a reason, and that's because what's ahead is most important.
Decatur scored in the third minute a kind of miscue from the Todd Beamer backline, and sophomore Johnny Thomas was able to score the first goal. He came up from JV after scoring 16 goals in 10 games for the Decatur junior varsity squad, and he makes an immediate impact for the Decatur varsity squad. And here's Dismuke talking about his young sophomore attacker.
He's ended up scoring 16 goals in 10 games for JV. And so when a guy does that, you have no choice. He forces your hand, you have no choice but to call him up. So once I saw the work that he was putting in with JV, I saw that we were struggling to score some goals as well, too. That's why I decided to bring him up.
Todd Beamer responded after that early Decatur goal and took a 2-1 lead. The Israel Martinez scored a fantastic goal to take the lead for Todd Beamer in the first half. But Decatur was able to answer, and it was the answer from Captain Adrian Alonso. Right before the halftime whistle, he dribbled in between defenders. He avoided numerous Todd Beamer defenders and was able to rifle a shot into the back of the net. And here he is talking about that goal and the significance to kind of inspire his group in the first half against Todd Beamer.
It felt good. It felt good, especially like just being very frustrated that we went 2-1 down, and being able to make a statement to my team and show them like to come on, let's keep pushing, and scoring that 2-2, giving us motivation. It felt great knowing that we were gonna come back in this game with that 2-2, and me being able to make that statement there.
Decatur was able to take the lead in the second half following the 2-2 entry into the second half from Jose Bonilla Ruiz from the penalty spot, giving Decatur that 3-2 advantage. Decatur finished the year on 31 points, just 3 points behind Auburn Mountain View, who ended up winning the league for the second straight year. And now Decatur will prepare for the West Central District Tournament, which begins on May 9th. And that'll be it for this episode of Around the Sound Sports. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you for the continued support on this YouTube channel and the support on our Instagram page at Around the Sound Sports Pod. We will continue to post clips from this YouTube video on our Instagram. Feel free to keep sharing those videos, commenting, liking them up. And we will be back next week with episode 8 of Around the Sound Sports. And I'll see you around the sound.